Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we're looking at something that's not altogether that old. It's only about 10 years old, but it is an absolutely awesome set, and I felt that we needed to do a video on these particular figures. So we're looking at a 2015-16 release by Disney from their Star Wars The Force Awakens series of figures and play sets. And this particular set we're looking at today is a 6 figurine play set, which includes the main characters from the massive new film at the time, which was Star Wars The Force Awakens, which is also known as Star Wars Episode 7. And it is obviously a space opera epic film, which was co-produced and directed by J.J. Abrams, and it was the sequel to Return of the Jedi, the 1983 blockbuster movie. So chronically, it is the 7th film in the Skywalker saga, and it was set 30 years after the Return of the Jedi. So the movie follows Rey, Finn, Captain Poe Dameron, Han Solo and Chewbacca's in their search for Luke Skywalker and their fight in the Resistance, which is commanded by General Leia Organa, and quite a few veterans of the Rebel Alliance, and they're battling against Kylo Ren and the First Order, which is basically the successor to the Galactic Empire. So quite a few of the characters from the original Star Wars movie made their return. So Harrison Ford, Han Solo, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, along with Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, Daisy Ridley as Rey, John Boyega as Finn, and other famous actors, Andy Serkis, and of course Anthony Daniels returned as C-3PO, and Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. Very, very popular film. It aired for the first time on December 14th, 2015, and it ran for about 138 minutes, I think it was. Interesting, the cost to produce the movie was $533 million. Colossal amount of money to make a movie, but it did net back at the box office $2.07 billion. So a massive, massive return on the outlay. Anyway, let's not digress any further. So this is the figurine playset. Although I don't quite understand why they called it a playset, because these are static figures, which means they don't move. They're not action figures, so there's no movement on any of the figures. They are literally figurines. So you can't play with a figure like you would an action figure and move things around. They literally are figurines, and for me they're just display figurines. But anyway, so who have we got in the pack here? So we've got the six of the main characters. So you've got the Stormtrooper, you've got Kylo Ren, you've got BB-8, you've got Finn, you've got Rey, and you've got Captain Plasma. Now at the bottom of the packet it says Disney Store Star Wars Figurine Play Set, and from the new film Star Wars The Force Awakens, and it says ages 3 and above. Okay, before we have a good look at the figures, let's turn the packet round and see what we got printed on the back. Okay, well that's disappointing. So there's not a lot to see on the back. It just says Star Wars Figurine Play Set. You got the image of Kylo Ren with his lightsaber there, and then it's just warning and cautions about removing tags from the plastic and choking hazards and so on. And you got the Disney logo, Disney Store logo, and the copyright information at the bottom there. and the Star Wars and Lucasfilm copyright information at the bottom. So that's all that's on the bottom. I don't think there's anything on the very bottom of the packet, just the barcode and the original price. And on the side of the packet, it just says Star Wars again, together with the Disney logo, and that's the same at both ends. So not a lot to see on the packet. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able, or maybe be able, actually I'm going to have a look at this and see if I can actually open the packet so we can have a better look at the figures. Okay, so I have managed to remove the figures from the back. However, I'm not going to be able to take them out off of here, because you can see how they're all still wrapped up and attached to the bottom of the pack. So I'm not going to actually remove them off there. But as I said to you before, these are static figures. They're not movable in any way. They are literally just figures. Some of the weapons are rubbery, so they are slightly movable, but they don't actually move position. It's just the bendability of them. So, but otherwise they are complete static figures with no movement. Now, there's nothing printed on the bottom of there apart from on Captain Plasma. It's just got the Disney Store London details on it. Other than that, they are pretty much all blank on the stands. Okay, so who have we got? So let's have a look first of all at the Stormtrooper. Now I've got to admit, I mean, the detailing on these figures are very, very good. For static figures, they are absolutely brilliant. Again, all in his white armor as a Stormtrooper, together with his Stormtrooper blaster rifle there. And if I just turn him round to the back, you can see his backpack there, oxygen tanks at the bottom there, and his armor all the way down to his black boots. And of course, he's attached to his own stand. Okay, let's have a look at Kylo Ren. So as you would expect from Kylo Ren, I'm just trying to get you the best view as I possibly can. There you can see him with his mask on, with his black Sith robes and hoodie, and he is holding his cross style lightsaber, and he's in his black boots as well, and his outfit goes all the way down to the stand at the bottom, and again he's also sitting on his own stand, and the lightsaber is a little bit bendy, as you can see, so you can play around with that. Let's have a look at the back of him. If you can just see in there, again you can see the lovely movement of his cloak, or it looks like movement of his cloak. Again, terrific detailing of that figure from, well, all the way around, back and front. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, let's move around and have a look at our favorite droid. There he is, BB-8. Again, very detailed, just like the one on the set, extremely detailed, even with his little aerials at the back there and his little light feature there. Again, it's moving all around there because he is detailed all the way around. Absolutely wonderful, highly detailed model again there, and again attached on his own stand. And then we've got Finn at the back there. Let's have a move in on Finn. Now, it's not a bad figure. I don't think the likeness of John Boyega is absolutely spot on. It's not quite right, which is a shame really, because all of the others seem to be absolutely spot on, but I just haven't got the facial features quite right there, John Boyega. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but I don't think it's exact. So maybe the face could do with a little bit more work, or could have done a little bit more work. But other than that though, it's incredibly detailed, and he's holding his blaster here as well. Actually, the more I look at that face, the more I think it is not bad, actually. My first impression of it was that it doesn't look a lot like John Boyega, but the more I look at it, the more I zoom in, I think actually it's not really a bad likeness of him. And of course, there he is in that jacket that was Poe Dameron's and was given to him when they crashed on Tatooine, I think it was, yeah. So there he is, trousers, jacket, black t-shirt, detail again all the way around. Let's turn him around to the back. Again, you can see how nicely the jacket falls, not dead straight, but it does have the creases as you would expect when you're wearing a jacket. And his shoes at the bottom there, and of course the stand. Okay, let's move on to the favourite character of all, as I'm sure was Rey, as portrayed by the delightful Daisy Ridley in the movie. Again, well, I suppose it's not a bad likeness of Daisy Ridley. It's not the best I've seen, but it's not a bad likeness, and for a static figure, I don't think it's that bad, actually. Same thing, the more I look at it, the more I think it's not bad at all. My first impressions was, yeah, it's a fair likeness, but I didn't think it was as good as it actually is, and it is a pretty good likeness. And of course, again, detailed where she's holding her staff, and she's in that outfit that she wore on Tatooine, with those grey shoes at the bottom, in her scavenger attire, let's say, and her arm sleeves, and as I say, walking with her staff. Let's just turn around to the back, and there again you can see her hair, the way she wore it in a bun with a ponytail. There's the back of her staff. She's carrying her little bum bag there as well. And once again, her costume is moving as it would when she's walking, and you've got the nice crease movements of the uniform, of her outfit as she moves, including the crease marks on the arm sleeves. So again, terrific detailing of a wonderful character. And then of course, Captain Plasma. Now, of all these characters, she probably had the least amount of airtime in that movie, but again, I think her outfit was absolutely spot on. Again, the silver Stormtrooper outfit, if you like, absolutely spiffing and exactly detailed to her character on screen, all the way down to her silver armor, lower armor, and boots. And again, her blaster was silver. Obviously, being the captain, she's quite content to have whatever she wants, and of course that marvelous cape that she wore. And let's turn around to the back again, and there you can see the back of the helmet. Nice markings again where it's been in battle, and again the creases and the marks of her cloak. So she does actually look like she's moving with it, and it's got those creases as you would expect if it was real. And of course, you've got those wonderful stands. Okay, that is the 6 figures. I'm just going to throw some measurements so we get an idea of the size. Obviously, they are different sizes. Let's start with Kylo Ren. So from the bottom of the stand to the top is 4 inches, or perhaps I should say 10 centimeters. Now, it's quite wide because of that lightsaber. We measure from the tip of the lightsaber to the bottom of the stand, you're looking at 10 centimeters there. And really, we should be measuring the diameter of the stand, which will give you the depth, which is about 6.5 centimeters. The Stormtrooper stands a little bit bigger, it's about 7 centimeters. He's going to be measuring around about the same height, I would imagine, 10 centimeters. And if we measure his width, let's measure him across again, because he's got his legs outspread. So we're looking again at about 7 centimetres. Captain Plasma, on the other hand, well, she's just standing still, and she's a little bit taller. She's about 10.5 centimetres, because she's standing upright, not crouching at all. And if we measure across her back, which is going to be her widest point, we're looking at about 5 centimetres. And her stand has got a diameter of about 5.5 centimetres. Okay, Rey. Now, Rey's stand measures 5.5 centimetres as well. It's the same size as Captain Plasma's. She is a little bit smaller though. She comes in at about 9 centimetres. And width-wise, she is measuring probably about 5 centimetres as you measure from the end of her staff to the end of her cloak at the bottom there. And then finally, BB-8. If we measure the height of BB-8, we're looking at about what is it? About 5.5 centimetres. If you measure, his stand is about 4 centimetres, and his diameter is about 3.5 centimetres. So there we go. That gives you an idea of the size of these figures. Now, as I say, I do think these figures are absolutely fantastic for display purposes. I would say I don't think there's no playability on them, as I say, because they are static figures. Although, yeah, I know there are other toys that are static for kids, and kids still get great enjoyment out of static figures. Personally, my personal opinion is that figures need to be, if they're being played with, they need to have movement. So these figures would be amazing in a display. The way they're posing, the way they look absolutely awesome in a display. So that's my opinion of them. Okay, how well did they do back in 2015 or 16 when they were released? Well, I don't know the quantities that were produced, and they were around for quite some time, so I'm assuming that they didn't sell as well as what was expected. Although, well, I mean, I can remember going to the Disney store and seeing these figures. They had piles and piles of these cases stacked up, and they were there for an awful long time. I think the young kids were interested in the actual action figures, because there was a lot of action figures around for The Force Awakens as well. So I think the kids were more interested in the action figures than in the actual static figures. And as a parent, I would also go for the action figures for my kids rather than for the static figures, again, because there's no playability with them. So I don't think they've done quite as well as they or sold as quickly as they were expected to. But for me, I think they're just absolutely awesome. I really do. Okay, let's move forward 10 years, or nearly 10 years, to 2025, which is where we are today. Do these figures come up very often on the platforms? And the answer to that, quite simply, is no, not anymore. You used to see them, going back 5-6 years ago, they were everywhere on the platforms. Not just this set, but there was obviously multiple other sets that Disney produced for the different films, or they also done the Sith, they also done the Jedi, and so on. So there was a lot of different sets produced, and you would see an awful lot of them on the platforms. Nowadays, I suppose 10 years on since when they were released, you don't very often see them pop up. But don't get me wrong, they do come up from time to time, but nowhere near as often as they used to. You do see quite a few of these figures loose. So if you wanted to buy Rey on their own, you could probably find her loose, or Finn, or BB-8, or whoever. But buying them as a set nowadays is not very often, and when they do appear as a sealed set like this is, they sell very, very quickly. So you need to be quick if you find one on the platform. But obviously be a bit vigilant on the platforms, as I always say. Someone's idea of good condition could be somebody else's idea of acceptable condition, and some platforms use stock photographs. So if it says used, click the link and read what you're about to get, rather than what's on the home page, because that's not what you're going to be ordering if it is a used item. So, or otherwise, I mean, you don't need to go through that rigmarole. You can come straight to us at Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles, where we do not believe in stock photographs, and what you see in front of you is exactly the item that you would receive should you wish to order it. And of course, this particular set is now available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, along with quite a few different sets that we do have available. And once again, former shop stock. It was on the shelf of a shop that closed down, and we were fortunate enough to go in and buy out all their remaining stock, and this and multiple other sets was amongst the stock that we bought, and we are making those sets available to our customers on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Wars items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful Star Wars The Force Awakens figurine playset with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.